So, check it out, everyone. Another music lesson for the day. So, back to the notes that are changing, going from one scale to the next scale in the order of sharps and flats for major and minor scales. I put the major scale in a circle. The minor scale is listed below for some of them. And then the triangles represent the notes that are changing, going from a scale, or going to a scale, I should say. So, for instance, this would be our C major. So, going from F major to C major, the note that changes is B flat to B, right? Since there's a B flat in the F major and a B in the C major, since C major doesn't have any sharps or flats. Now, going from C major to G major, or E minor, the changing notes are F to F sharp, since there's no sharps in the C major, and there's an F sharp, one sharp in the G major, right? And then going from G major to D major would be C turns into C sharp for the second sharp. D major to A major, G turns into G sharp, or the third sharp that's in the A major scale, and so forth, right? So there's that. So I did the notes going to a major and minor scale that are changing, as well as for this one, I did the notes that are going from a major and minor scale in this case. So let's see here, the C major right here. So G to C, for instance, rather than F to C. So it's going in the opposite direction for this one, right? So let's do one of these notes, like B major, right? We have here A sharp to A, or the last sharp in the B major, which would have been the A sharp, the fifth sharp, turns into A in the E major scale, or the C minor scale. And then from the E major to A major, D sharp turns into D. And then for the A major to the D major, G sharp turns into G. So there's only the two sharps. And this, last sharp in the D major scale is going to be the one that changes to a natural note going this way, right? But there's something cooler that I even want to point out to you. So we have here, of course, we have the patterns F, C, G, D, A, E, B, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, right? Of course, we have that. But there's something else. So checkerkins out. The notes that are changing to the major and minor scales is, check this out, one step lower, kind of, or one alphabet letter before the major scale and one alphabet letter after the minor scale. So for instance, F flat, or E to F, so F is one step lower than G flat major, but it's one step higher than the E minor, E flat minor. Or you could say F is one letter before the G flat major scale and one letter after the E flat minor scale, right? If that makes sense. Let's do another one that's kind of easier for me, for my sake, because I'm dumb. So going from the B flat to F major scale. So check it out, E flat to E, right? So E flat, or E, is one letter below F, and it is one letter after D in the alphabet, right? So F to C, B flat to B, B is one letter before the C major scale and one letter after the A minor scale, right? So you can kind of see how that pattern tends to flow from here, right? As well as like F, C, G, D, A, E, B, F, C, G, D, A, E, B, F. And notice here, actually, this would be the notes listed in order for the notes that are actually sharped in the major and minor scales. Like F would be the first note that's sharped, and is the last note that is flatted, right? And then the second note that's sharped would be the C, and that's the second to last note that's unflatted in this case. And then the third sharped note is G, and then D is the fourth, and then A is the fifth, and then E is the sixth, and then last but not least would be your B. That is the last note to be sharped and the first note to be flatted, right? So there is that pattern. Now, going from this one. So I said in this one, the changing note is one letter before the major scale and one letter after the minor scale, right? So in this case, the changing notes going from a major and minor scale is one step lower than the major and one step higher than the minor. Or it's one letter before the major and one letter after the minor. Going from, the changing notes going from, that is. So if we look here, like C sharp, so B sharp or C to B, right? So check it out. The B is one letter after, or before C in the alphabet. Wow, I'm dumb. And then it's one letter after the minor scale letter. Yes. And I'm trying to teach this, haha, because I really should be teaching myself to, like, not be dumb. Anyways, so, let's see here. So let's say these ones. So A sharp to A, right? So A is one letter before the B major scale in the alphabet, and one letter after the G sharp minor scale in the alphabet of music, let's say, right? Since obviously A is the first and standard, but you know what I mean. In terms of the musical notes, A comes after G, since G is the end letter, not C. Anyway, I blab on. So, going from the E major to the A major scale is D sharp to D, which notice D is one letter before E and is one letter after the minor, letter C minor, right? And then A major to D major, so G is one letter after the A and or one letter before the A and one letter after the F sharp, right? And then D to G major is C sharp to C. And notice here the C is one letter before the major scale, or one letter after the major scale, and one letter after the minor scale. So, yes, I'm dyslexic today. So, yeah, and then jumping to the flats here, right? So, going from the C major to the F major. B to B flat, right? So B is one letter before the C major scale and one letter after the A minor scale. Whew, finally got it right. Okay, so F major to B flat major, E to E flat, so E is one letter before F major and one letter after D minor in the alphabet. So this holds true for this as well. And notice for this one, so instead of going in the order of the sharps, since it's going from the sharps to down the sharps and up the flats rather than, down the flats and up the sharps. So notice here, the letters that keep on repeating are actually the order of the notes that are flatted. So B sharp to B, right? So B is the last note that is sharped, and then the first note that's flatted, right? Right here. So B, E, A, D, G, C, F, and then B, which repeats the process going from the C major to the F major scale this time, right? So B to B flat is first flat, E to E flat's the second flat, and then A to A flat's the third, D to D flat's the fourth, and so forth, right? D, and then G is the fifth, C is the sixth, and F is the seventh, or the last note that is flatted, and the first note to be sharped. So the notes are inverse patterns of each other as well in terms of which note gets sharp first, or flatted first and last, that type of deal, in the order of such.